They said she suffered from alcohol poisoning, but the autopsy report told a completely different story. On the first day, people seemed relaxed, even friendly. But I overheard some things about a death, a body, and it made me wonder, was this all part of some hidden agenda? Were they truly friends, or were they hiding something far darker? How could she have known that those around her might not hesitate to take her life? What started as an exciting getaway with friends quickly spiraled into tragedy. In just a few short hours, her family was faced with the most devastating news imaginable. Shanquella Robinson, a talented beauty and hair specialist from Charlotte, North Carolina, was a thriving businesswoman. She owned a series of beauty boutiques and brands, including a children's hair braiding business. Deeply cherished by her family and friends, Robinson decided to treat herself to a vacation with a group she considered close friends, 3 women and 3 men. The destination: the high-end resort of Puerto Los Cabos in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. Robinson and her group rented an extravagant private villa for the trip, complete with the services of a private chef. On October 28, 2022, Shanquella and her 5 friends departed from Charlotte, North Carolina, heading toward San Jose del Cabo, Mexico. Throughout her journey, Shanquella shared her excitement on social media, posting snapshots of her travels and moments with her friends for her followers. At the villa, they enjoyed a meal prepared by a private chef, and everything seemed to be going smoothly. However, the following day, October 29th, Nazir Wiggins, one of Shanquella's friends who was joining the group later, called to get the villa's address. While on the call, he learned that Shanquella was unwell. He was informed that she had taken ill, reportedly due to alcohol poisoning. "I called them around 2:16 p.m. asking for the address," Nazir said. "That's when I first heard Shanquella wasn't feeling well. They told me she was sick and sitting outside, showing signs that looked like alcohol poisoning." Later, around 2:30 p.m. that same day, a doctor from the American Medical Center in Cabo San Lucas was summoned to the villa to check on her condition. Lucas received a notification concerning Shanquella. He was informed that she was not feeling well. When the doctor arrived, it was evident that Shanquella was in a poor state. She appeared disoriented, dehydrated, and generally lethargic, all of which could indicate alcohol poisoning. However, as the doctor tried to start an IV drip, Robinson experienced a tonic-clonic seizure. Her breathing became irregular, her pulse weakened, and eventually she went into cardiac arrest. According to the police report, Shanquella Robinson was declared clinically dead at 5:57 p.m. that same day. The rest of the American group departed the following day, leaving Shanquella behind. Her remains were returned to the U.S. 2 weeks later, at a cost of $6,000. But the Robinson family's ordeal was far from over. Once Shanquella's body was back in the States, it could be said that their true struggles had only just begun. On November 10th, the Robinsons received the official autopsy report from the Mexican Secretariat of Health. The findings stated that Shanquella died from a severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation, which translates to a broken neck. Notably, there was no mention of alcohol poisoning in the official document. As suspicions around Shanquella's death continued to grow, her family faced yet another shocking revelation. A video had surfaced, depicting her being violently assaulted by a woman. This footage went viral on social media. On November 15th, the internet erupted, with everyone from media outlets to celebrities sounding the alarm over the suspicious circumstances surrounding Shanquella Robinson's death. Soon after, the case began to be classified as femicide. What you've just heard is the official narrative, but behind closed doors and away from the media frenzy that erupted following an American's sudden and suspicious death on Mexican soil, Shanquella's family had sensed something was off from the very beginning. One of the first warning signs for Shanquella's mother was the 2 separate calls she received from her daughter's friends on the night of the tragedy. The first call informed her that Shanquella was feeling unwell due to alcohol poisoning, and a second call was made when the medics arrived. Throughout the conversation, different members of Shanquella's group repeatedly asserted that her condition stemmed from alcohol poisoning, presenting it as fact rather than speculation. Yet the autopsy results told a different story. Upon the return of Shanquella's friends, her grieving family was met with more distressing news. Each member of the group provided a vastly different account of events, and their stories were riddled with inconsistencies. Some claimed a maid discovered Shanquella unconscious, while others stated they called for a doctor, and some insisted it was the resort's concierge who made that call. A few even acknowledged that a fight had taken place, despite previously asserting that Shanquella had died from alcohol poisoning. It was also unclear whether she was found on the floor, in her bed, or slumped in a chair, as various accounts contradicted one another. Additionally, new details emerged, such as Shanquella's mother begging her friends to take her daughter to the emergency room, only to be told it would cost $5,000 in cash for her to receive medical attention. As the truth about Shanquella's death began to surface from the autopsy report, it became evident that someone, if not everyone, in her circle, had been dishonest from the beginning. Upon viewing her daughter's lifeless body, Shanquella's mother noted the clear signs of trauma: a knot on her head, bruises on her face, a swollen eye, and a split lip, all indicative of a physical attack. Despite the evident signs of violence on Shanquella's body and the circulating video of the assault, the U.S. State Department released a statement asserting that there was no evidence of foul play in her death. Before we delve into the painfully slow investigation by the FBI into Shanquella's death, it's important to consider the leaked video. The footage shows at least one of Shanquella's acquaintances delivering brutal punches to her head and body, while a naked Shanquella retreats and raises her arms defensively, refusing to fight back. A man's voice can be heard calmly asking her, "Can you at least fight back?" The video raises numerous questions. Why did no one step in to stop the assault? Who was filming the attack? And why was Shanquella unclothed? Many suspect that the assault on the 25-year-old was premeditated, suggesting her friends ambushed her as soon as she exited the shower. There are claims that the attack may have escalated off-camera, with reports indicating that the assailant began to choke Shanquella. On November 23, 2022, a court order was issued for the arrest of Shanquella's direct aggressor, who appeared in the video. The cause of her death was officially confirmed as a spinal cord fracture, not alcohol poisoning. This case seemed to be approaching resolution, with the court order in place and an arrest warrant issued for the crime of femicide against an American citizen. Given that the case was practically resolved, the necessary legal steps for extradition were underway, with North American authorities handling the situation. An Interpol Red Notice was also issued to help locate the suspect in the U.S. While a local news outlet reported an arrest warrant had been issued for one of Robinson's acquaintances, no arrests have been made to date. The suspect remains free in the United States, as the investigation into Shanquella's death appears to have stalled. Despite the mounting evidence, Robinson's family has recently called upon President Joe Biden and the U.S. Department of State to intervene diplomatically in the investigation of Shanquella's case. It is alleged that the holdup in the investigation stems from extradition complications between the U.S. and Mexico. However, since the assailant is an American citizen, it raises the question, why has it been over 18 weeks without any progress, and why hasn't anyone, including Shanquella's family, been updated on any developments? Another significant unanswered question looms over this case. The video, recorded on a phone belonging to one of Shanquella's companions, was leaked while she was receiving CPR. Who was responsible for that leak? Recently, Latavia McGee, an American citizen who was kidnapped in Mexico amidst cartel violence, took to Facebook to express her grief over Shanquella Robinson's death. In her post, she wrote, "I have always told my children and anyone who would listen that just because you share common interests and spend time with people, it doesn't mean they are your friends." As the world once again turns its attention to the tragic death of Shanquella Robinson, it is crucial to recognize the egregious injustices that followed her murder. We must ask ourselves what has caused the delays. Shanquella was a strong, brilliant Black woman, a true asset to the world, and we will continue to advocate for justice on her behalf. Do you believe the FBI has been hiding something in their investigation of the Robinson case? What do you think has been occurring behind the scenes? Did this video spark your curiosity or clarify some questions regarding this complex case? We regularly produce high-quality investigative true crime content, and your support is vital to our work. Be sure to check out our other videos and subscribe to our channel.